Now when you write assertions using PHPUnit, you can actually pass a second argument to the assertions, and that is a failure message, a meaningful failure message to let the user know a bit more detail on why something has failed. And so that's what we want to do in this one. I want to pass a second argument to this, which will be a failure message. But first, we need to actually come up with a message. So what I'd like to do is have something a bit like this. So if it fails, it couldn't find a product record in the database, it will say a product record could not be found with the following attributes, and then it will display the attributes which were actually passed into the test, and so it'll give us a good idea of why it's failed and that record definitely isn't in the database. Choose high definition for the best viewing experience, and if you'd like to join a growing group of software developers and take your skills to a new level, all you need to do is subscribe, click the little notification icon, and welcome. So that could be quite tricky because at the moment we just have an array of key value pairs, so there's going to need to be a little bit of manipulation here to get the string looking the way we want it. And so you might think, well, isn't this a bit overkill? And in some situations it might be, but what we're building here is we're not just going straight to coming up with an e-commerce solution. I'm showing you how to build a system which can be maintained and extended and which will last years and which other developers will actually enjoy working on, rather than just having something which has been cobbled together. It's just one solution which solves one problem. When you build systems, you can solve multiple problems, and so that's what our focus is really on this one. So let's think about how we can actually create this failure message. We're going to have to sort of loop over our array, take each part and convert the key into something like this: key equals value, and then each set is going to be separated by commas. Okay, and so I think what we'll do, because I want to also have an assert database not has for when, for example, when you want to check that a record has been deleted, I'd like to have an assert database not has. So rather than writing the logic in this assertion for what I want to achieve, I'm going to actually create a separate function or a separate method which can be used in both the assert database has and the assert database not has assertions. So let's do that now. Now we want to convert our key values array into a key values string. So for lack of a better name, I think I'm just going to call this as key values string, and obviously it's going to take an array which will be the criteria, and I'm thinking maybe we can specify the separator. So we could allow for separators which look like colons or separators which look like equals, and we can let the user decide how they want to, or the client code writer decide how they want to display this. So I think it might be good to have a separator variable equals, and then our default is we'll have a space, an equal sign and a space. I think that'll look fairly nice and neat. The way I've decided to do this is I'm going to use array map. So what array map will do, it will loop over the array and it will perform a specific piece of functionality on each row of the array, each item in the array. And that functionality that we want is to get the keys and the values and put the keys on one side of this and the values on the other. And so let's give this a go. Okay, so array map will actually return us back a new array. So what we're going to do is we'll call this mapped attributes equals array map. And let's actually go and look at this function and see how it works. Applies the callback to the elements of the given arrays. So notice there, plural arrays, and I think that is likely to be our case. So the first argument is the callback, so we'll pass a function there, and then we're going to need to glue keys and values together. So I'm thinking we'll have an array containing the keys and an array containing the values, and we'll use both of those parts inside the callback to glue them together. let's go and give this a go. It'll make more sense once we try this. So we've said that the first argument is the callback, so function. And what we want to do is actually perform this functionality using keys and values. So we'll say key and we'll say value. Okay, and then we have our callback function, and then our next arguments are the arrays. So we're going to have the keys array and the values array. How do we get the keys array? So we can use the array keys function, which will return you all the keys, an array of all the keys from an array, and that will be criteria, and then we just want the values. So for that one we can just use criteria and it will use the values for that. Okay, and then inside of our callback, so if you look where we are here, we're inside of the curly braces, inside of the callback function. Thinking about this, we have to make our separator available within our callback, and so the way we do that is we say use and then in parentheses separator, because at the moment it wouldn't have been available to us, so we wouldn't have been able to use it within the callback, but we made that possible by saying use separator before the opening curly brace. Okay, and then what we need to do is return key concatenated with separator concatenated with value. Okay, and so what we should get now is each row of the array, of the original criteria array, will be worked upon by this callback here, and then it will return us a new array of mapped attributes, which will be the key of each array, appended with the equal sign and then appended with the value. So let's actually go and dump this out just to make sure that we are getting what we hope we are getting, and if we run the test we should see this. In fact, what we need to do is actually call the method inside this assert database has. So this has key value string, and then we'll pass entity. In fact, we don't want entity, we want criteria. Okay, run the test. Okay, this is great. So we have name equals, and then it gives the description, and description equals, and then foobar, because that is what we were using in the test last time we ran it. If you see here, description is foobar. So this is pretty good. Now it should be fairly straightforward to convert this from an array to a string separated by commas. We can simply use implode. So what we can do it only one line, return implode, and then the glue will be a comma and a space, and then the array will be our mapped attributes. And let's go and grab this value, so we'll just call this key values string, and then we'll dump this out. So dump key values string, and let's see what this looks like. Name equals blah blah blah, comma, description equals foobar. Okay, great. So all we need to do now is just create our failure message. If we go back to where I'd created or started to create one, we can now say failure message equals, paste that in there, and it's not a product record, we need to use the entity name. So I will change this to double quotes, a entity record could not be found with the following attributes, and then in here we just need to use our key value string. Okay, and then we'll dump it out. So this is pretty much how I work. I just do a little bit, dump it out each step of the way, and then you know if something hasn't worked, you know exactly where it hasn't really worked. Okay, so a app entity product record could not be found with the following attributes: name equals blah 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 blah, description equals foobar. So this is a perfect error message really, and we can now use this in our assertion. And so as you can see, we've already got a failure message in there. Let's go and run this and see how we get on. Okay, so we have a failed test. A app entity product could not be found with the following attributes: name equals this, description equals this, and then there's the standard message which came with the assertion, but now we have something which is much more customized, much more understandable, and we'll be able to understand exactly what the problem is. In the next one, what we'll do is we'll actually go and create another assertion, a sister assertion to go with this one, which will be fairly similar, but it'll have its own error message because this time we are asserting that the database doesn't have, and we'll call that assert database not has. I'll see you in that one. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like YouTube to show you more of my content, all you need to do is subscribe and click the little notification icon. I release new recordings every few days. Details of my schedule can be found on the community tab of my YouTube channel homepage.